wife and I,
My wife and I,
my wife and I,
my wife and I,
for me and my wife,
me and my wife,
I'm so proud of my wife,
and my incredible wife,
and an amazing wife.
the soulmate in my wife,
Thank you, my love,
the mother to my children,
the love of my life,
my wife,
my wife, my wife and I,
my wife and I,
my wife and I,
my wife and I,
for me and my wife,
me and my wife,
I'm so proud of my wife,
and my incredible wife,
and an amazing wife.
the soulmate in my wife,
Thank you, my love,
the mother to my children,
the love of my life, my wife.
In my life, my spouse. Have you ever encountered a more pitiful, spineless, subservient individual, a simp, than the one I just presented to you? And he relinquished everything for a paranoid, malignant narcissist. Let's begin. First up, and I thought you guys would find this amusing, regardless of your political stance. A parody of Meghan Markle. Could you still want a seat in the Senate, Mr. Sniff? And that, of course, is a famous picture of President Biden. And then, we have Meghan, who will do anything or go on any couch to get a position that she desires. From Markle News 1. Just arrived in LA, we went out for dinner. We unexpectedly crossed paths with Meghan Markle, who was being discreet and exceedingly pleasant. What I found intriguing about this, folks, is that it appears they're in a bustling area of LA, possibly even Hollywood. And who can you typically find in Hollywood? Paparazzi, yet they don't seem to be present, do they? The same paparazzi that pursued Meghan and Harry in perilous car chases in New York City. The same paparazzi that tracked her down in parking lots and secluded pathways in the middle of the woods, yet they don't seem to be there tonight. Why? Because she didn't summon them. But she was more than willing to take photos with some cis-soak squad fans. It has been pointed out that the girl at the bottom has appeared in other photos with Meghan. So, how coincidental is it? As long as someone is taking a photo of Meghan, she's content, but where is the charity work? Where is your philanthropy? And by now, I'm sure you've all heard that Harry and Meghan are headed to New York City for an Archwell Foundation Parents Summit on mental wellness in the digital age. Well, first and foremost, there is no concrete evidence that these two are even parents at all. So what are they doing advising parents on matters that, if they do have children, which is a big if, they're not old enough to experience yet? They'll be lecturing parents and educating them on matters concerning teenagers. And then, from People magazine, Kate Middleton and Prince William, Catherine Princess of Wales and Prince William, announce a mental health forum as Meghan and Harry host a summit in New York City. Both camps are involved in mental health initiatives, but there's a notable difference. William and Catherine are addressing mental health comprehensively and covering it as a whole, while Harry and Meghan are exclusively focused on social media and digital aspects. Why? Because that's their agenda. That's what troubles them. That's what they need to control so they can thrive. Unfortunately, they fail to realize that, whether social media vanishes or not, the press will continue to hold them accountable for their actions. People are not oblivious to their true motives, and that's the distinction. William and Catherine are genuinely concerned about mental health, while Harry and Meghan only care about themselves, correct? So, this is the central theme of my video today, folks. I was searching for this image this morning because I wanted to use it, and I know it annoys Harry and Meghan, as we've seen in articles. However, I didn't realize just how much it irritates them. While I was looking for this image, a bunch of other images popped up, and it started to form a clear picture for me. I thought I'd share it with you, and forgive me if other YouTubers have already discussed this angle. I wasn't part of the scene when it all unfolded. But I thought you might find it interesting, and there's no harm in revisiting it. As I went through it, I found it quite shocking. Our first image features the monarch, and future monarchs. I couldn't find a date for this picture, but judging by their appearances, I'd guess it's from 2005 or earlier. Mary was still contentedly part of the royal family at that time. You see this picture, and you're aware of your standing within the royal family. No issue, no problem. On October 23, 2013, we have more pictures. Another picture of the monarch and the future monarchs. In 2013, there was no problem. Harry was content in the royal family. He was flourishing, having a good time, doing whatever he does. He was a happy fellow, no issues without being in these pictures. No problems. He was out enjoying himself, probably. Who knows what he was up to, but he was content with his role and happy within his family. In the summer of 2015, we're back with the monarch and the future monarchs. Quite an adorable picture. Look at little George, could he be any cuter? Harry was still part of the royal family, fully aware of his role within the family. No problems, no issues in this picture. He was out there, enjoying himself, and everything was fine. On January 3, 2020, another portrait. These portraits are nothing new, folks, as you're well aware. These portraits have been created for many years, but there was one change this time around. A new addition had entered the family, the paranoid, malignant narcissist. So, we have another portrait of future monarchs, and this year, there was trouble. Like I mentioned, there was a new member in the family. This picture was taken on January 3, 2020. January 8, 2020, Harry and Meghan Markle leave the royal family. Now, how's that for timing? Many people say there's no such thing as coincidence. So, just 5 days after that portrait was released, Harry and Meghan decided to leave the royal family. Even though there had been no issues with these portraits or Harry's role in the family until now. So, we can see that this particular portrait, which Meghan couldn't tolerate, was likely the tipping point. While there were various issues that eventually led to their departure, this may have been the catalyst. A catalyst for whom? Not Harry. According to the royal author Andrew Morton, this image, released just days before Harry and Meghan made their life-altering announcement, was the breaking point. It very well could have been, folks. And we'll delve into that. In his book, A Hollywood Princess, Morton wrote that the royal couple believed the entire institution was conspiring against them. Harry never felt that way, it's the paranoid narcissist who does. As they perceived it, the proof was all around them. So, these portraits, I showed you just a few. These portraits have been a tradition for, I don't know, let's say, 1,200 years, but the institution is now conspiring against, not Harry, because she doesn't care about him, but conspiring against her. The evidence is all around. They didn't just start with this picture, for the first time ever, and Meghan is claiming they're doing it because of her race and her children's race. No, this isn't the first time. The implicit rule was simple, the future of the monarchy was secured with or without Meghan and Harry. Yeah, newsflash, the unspoken rule was straightforward to Harry. He's known it his entire life. It's her. Now, she wanted to exit before, we know that because she wasn't the center of attention, but this, I believe, pushed her over the edge. While there were other issues percolating for years, like her seething hatred, jealousy, narcissism, and paranoia, this was her wake-up call. She realized things wouldn't change. She couldn't change it. She felt publicly embarrassed because they weren't in those pictures. Meanwhile, everyone else got it except her, but that was the breaking point, and that was it. They had to leave. This woman is appalling. Harry, what? I mean, I'd hate to be him when he finally wakes up to what has happened. And even if they separate and divorce, if he returns, it will never be the same, not even in the same universe. Thank you, my love. The mother. So I found this rather astonishing, petty, and ridiculous. Perhaps you don't find it surprising or were already aware of it, or perhaps not. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether it's just when you piece it all together, it's almost believable, which wouldn't be the case without evidence. Well, we would believe it because we know her. But to anyone else, it wouldn't be believable. Because it's unbelievable. But there it is, folks. Well done, Harry. I hope you have everything you need in your wife because she won't be around. I'm looking forward to your comments. Talk to you later.